My brothers and sisters in Islam, there is another big issue, and that is, by Allah, we think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves us. Every single human being sitting in this audience thinks Allah loves him. Every single human being sitting in this audience, by Allah, thinks that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves him. The evidence and the proof that you have for Allah loving you is because Allah has given you a good health. Allah has given you wealth. Allah has given you money. Allah has given you children. Allah has given you family. This is an evidence in your mind that Allah loves you. But Allah, this is the great deception of this dunya. أَفَأَمِنُوا مَكْرَ اللَّهِ فَلَا يَأْمَنُ مَكْرَ اللَّهِ إِلَّا الْقَوْمُ الْخَاسِرِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, do they have a guarantee that Allah is not mocking them? No one has a guarantee Allah is not mocking them except those people that have lost all good. My brothers and sisters in Islam, Allah gives wealth and money to Muslims and non-Muslims. Allah gives money and wealth and good health and children to those He loves and those that He does not love. Allah made Pharaoh the king of this dunya. Allah made Pharaoh the king, one of the kings of this dunya. Gave him wealth, gave him children, gave him so much by Allah. How many wives did he have? How much money did he have? How much kingdom and power did he have? But by Allah, this was never a sign that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loved him. This was never a sign. Take the example of this man. In Surah Kahf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says Allah gave him a huge garden. Allah gave him such a beautiful garden that used to give atat ukulaha marratay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used to give that garden its harvest twice in a year instead of once. And the garden was so beautiful. In between the garden was a major river. Can you imagine a beautiful garden? In between it is a beautiful river, and the garden surrounded by date palm trees in order to ward it from all the harm. MashaAllah, tabarakallah, this man used to enter into his garden. فَدَخَلَ جَنَّتَهُ وَهُوَ ظَالِمٌ لِنَفْسِهِ. And he wronged himself and he said, مَا أَظُنُّ أَن تَبِيدَ هَذِي أَبَدًا. I don't think this will ever go away. I don't think Allah will ever give me poverty. I don't think I'll ever be poor. I think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves me. مَا أَظُنُّ أَن تَبِيدَ هَذِي أَبَدًا وَمَا أَظُنُّ السَّاعَةَ قَائِمَةً. And I don't think the last hour will come. And even if it was to come and I were to die, لَأَجِدَنَّ خَيْرًا مِنْهَا مُنْقَلَبًا. That when I go back to Allah, I will find better than it. This is what we all think, right? This is what every one of us sitting here thinks. That by Allah, Allah loves us, so He gave us wealth and money. And when we go back to Allah, don't worry. Allah's going to give you a better Jannah. Allah's going to give you women in paradise. Allah's going to give you little children walking around, servants serving you whatever you want. Allah is going to give you whatever your heart's desire. Is this what we think? This is what Allah quotes this man saying by Allah. So what happens? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends down a lightning from the sky. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Kahf tells us that in the tafsir of this verse, the lightning came down from the sky and the whole garden burnt up. فَدَخَلَ جَنَّتَهُ. So he entered into his فَجَعَلَ يُقَلِّبُ كَفَّيْهِ عَلَى مَا أَنْفَقَ فِيهَا وَهِيَ خَاوِيَةٌ عَلَى عُرُوشِهَا وَيَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي لَمْ أُشْرِكْ بِرَبِّي أَحَدًا. He entered into his garden, and when he saw that every single thing had burnt up and his garden was destroyed, he entered into the garden. He put his hands into the sand and let the sand go through his hands. And as it went through his hands, and he said, Ya laytani, woe to me. How I wish I had not made any shirk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My brothers and sisters in Islam, your wealth, your health, your children, your family is not an evidence Allah loves you. Your wealth, your health, and your good life in this dunya is not an evidence Allah loves you. By Allah, this could be the makr of Allah. This could be the mockery of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.